Hi everybody, it's Chef Nicole. I'm here on behalf of the Kitchener Market. This is a great time of year to be having delicious, warm, hearty soups and stews. So I'm going to be sharing with you 2 recipes today. Yes, 2 recipes. The reason I'm able to do that is because I am going to be using my Instapot. So some of you guys may own an Instapot, maybe you have it, maybe you haven't even taken it out of the box yet, maybe you use it and you absolutely love it. Either way, I'm going to show you guys how to utilize this in your kitchen to just make meal prep and time simple and easy and so much faster. Most Instapots should have a saute feature or something to allow you to brown your meat. Color is flavor, guys, with meat. I'm sure you've heard me say this in previous videos, but when we add color to our meat, we get the most amount of flavor. So before I add in all of my vegetables, I'm going to first sear my meat. So I have just a tablespoon or 2 of oil down in the bottom of my pan, and you can hear that great sizzle. I know you guys have heard that before on previous videos. That sizzle is exactly what you're looking for to make sure that your pan is nice and hot. Just gonna put this aside and give my hands a quick little wash. And then I'm gonna sear up that meat, and then I'm gonna show you the vegetables that are gonna go into this dish. It's gonna take a couple minutes for my beef to sear off in this, so I'm just gonna set it off to the side while I go ahead and start working on my vegetables. For my vegetables that I'm going to be adding to the stew today, I have a couple of carrots, some ribs of celery, a couple of potatoes. I am going to leave the skin on when I throw it into the stew, and 1 onion. I also have a clove of garlic here as well. So I just thought that I would show you guys. I get asked all the time about how to get a nice dice on our potatoes. So I thought this would be a great demo to show you guys. So the first thing that we want to do is just cut kind of that little edge off of our potato. We like to make our round vegetables flat. It makes them so much easier to manage. So I am just going to trim a little edge off, lay it flat, and now instead of cutting it in half, which gives us all those weird half moons that we can often see, we're going to cut straight across the top into the size dice that we want to work with in our stew. Obviously, guys, the longer we're going to be cooking it for, the larger dice that we're going to want to use so that the potatoes don't turn to mush in the stew. I'm just going to cut down the middle, and then finally, I'm just going to cut across the top again. It's not a perfect dice because the potato is not perfectly square, but it gives us pretty uniform sizes and cuts to be able to put into our stew. So I'm just going to finish up with my second potato, and then we're going to get the rest of the vegetables chopped up and ready to go in. Got all my vegetables chopped up, and now I'm just going to pull the Instapot back down to be able to get all of my vegetables into the pot, cook them just for a minute or 2. I'm going to toss some flour and butter in there as well as some tomato paste. Tomato really brings out the beefiness in our flavor. And then I'm going to add in the rest of the seasonings and some stock. I'm just going to add a little bit of butter to have a little bit more fat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bit of a roux just to help thicken this stew up as it cooks. It's going to be so rich and delicious. It smells so good in here already, guys. The vegetables, the beef, everything. It's so good. I'm just going to do a little bit of seasoning with salt. Again, kosher salt. Don't be afraid of seasoning. We don't want to add too much because we do have some salt in our beef stock. To this, I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup or so of flour. And then I'm just going to stir this to coat all of the vegetables. Give it a minute or 2 just to cook out the rawness of the flour. Then I'm going to add in some tomato paste. I just want to go over a couple of things for any of you guys that might be new to Instapot. So you can see on the front face of mine, I'm not sure depending on what model you have, yours might look a little different, but you have your menu here, and you can see I have it set to high pressure, and then I've set the time to 15 minutes. And then once this comes up to pressure, you're gonna notice the time is not gonna change until my Instapot comes up to pressure. So that's also one of the great things about searing our meat and kind of having it on the saute or simmer feature while we're putting our other ingredients in. What that does is help our liquid to heat up a little faster, and it's going to hit pressure a lot quicker. On the top, you're going to have a red button that's going to pop up when the pressure is at the right, when it's at the right pressure, and then it's going to be locked and sealed, and you're not going to be able to open it until that pressure is released. The final thing real quick is our pressure valve at the back. It has a pressure and a pressure release. So you want to make sure that that's set correctly so that it does pressurize. The first couple times I used this, guys, couldn't figure out why all the steam was coming out the top and it wasn't locking in, and then I just flicked that little knob and all of a sudden the pressure was right. So be careful. I do release the pressure in my pressure cooker with a wooden spoon or something like that, so you don't get any steam or anything like that, or you can just let it naturally release all of the pressure inside the Instapot. So I'm going to set this off to the side and get on to the next recipe, but I hope that you guys take those tips and feel a little bit more confident when you're using your Instapot at home. All right, guys. So you guys have seen me maybe have some mishaps in the kitchen during a Kids in the Kitchen live. Doesn't normally happen to me on a taped video because, well, in reality, we can edit them out. But I thought that since, we all have things not work out exactly as planned in the kitchen, I would share this moment with you guys. My Instapot died as we were taping this episode. In the middle of pressurizing, it just wouldn't pressurize. It just kept going to keep warm and refusing to start up. So I thought I would take this opportunity to tell you guys how to just overcome an obstacle in the kitchen. So here's what I'm doing. I'm transferring my stew from the Instapot into my Dutch oven. And then I'm just going to literally pop this into my oven. So it'll be just as convenient. It'll take a little bit longer, but it'll be just as convenient as if I was doing it in the Instapot. So I am just gonna throw a lid on this. I've preheated my oven to 375 degrees. I'm gonna get this in the oven. It's gonna be in there for probably about an hour, and I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. So my beef stew is in the oven. Now I've moved on to my Thai chicken curry soup, one of my all-time favorite winter soups. It's great any time of year, but I love just how it's warm and a little bit spicy. It's just so comforting, and it's definitely a go-to at my house. So what I have in my pan, my pot, is just 3 chicken breasts cut up into 1-inch cubes, a couple tablespoons of oil, and then I am just going to show you guys how quick and easy this soup comes together. My chicken's been cooking now for about 5 or 6 minutes. It's pretty close to cooked through, but not completely. And what I'm going to do is just put it in a bowl off to the side while I get the rest of my ingredients in the pot. And then I'm going to add it in during the last couple minutes of simmering to just finish cooking it. Just remember, guys, when we're working with chicken or any of our meats, you don't always see it on camera, but just know I just sanitize my workstation after cutting up the chicken. So just make sure that you're taking the time to do that so that all the food that you make is safe to enjoy. Let's just spend a quick second talking about your Thai curry paste. So here I have some already made curry paste. I can also share with you guys a recipe if you guys want to make it on your own. But 2 of the ones that I use quite often are the Thai Kitchen Thai red curry paste, and this one, the Red Dragon, also red curry paste. They both have similar ingredients. Since this was the one that was most readily available at the store, is the one that I'm using today. So I'm going to add 2 nice heaping teaspoons into my pot. I have a tablespoon or 2 of oil in there as well. And I'm going to give that a quick stir, let it simmer for just a minute, and then I'm going to get some garlic and ginger added in there as well. And then onto the coconut milk. Adding in my garlic and my ginger. I'm just going to give this a little stir You can smell the Thai curry paste. It smells so good. I'm gonna get my coconut milk in pretty quickly because I don't want my garlic to burn. Okay, I've got 2 cans of full fat coconut milk. I don't like to use light personally. I like the richness that the full fat adds to this dish. Just grab a good quality coconut milk with lots of that delicious coconut cream on top, so we get a nice, rich, luscious soup. Got the coconut milk in, the curry paste, the ginger and garlic. Now I'm just adding in a couple of cups of chicken stock. I'm just going to bring that up to a simmer. Once that comes up to a simmer, I'm going to get our vegetables in, and then we're going to get the chicken back in. It smells great in here. I hope that before I add the chicken back in and the vegetables, oh, you guys, smell-o-vision needs to be a thing. I think I've said this many times before, but it is so true. Teaspoons of lemongrass. Normally I would use a fresh stalk of lemongrass, peel out the hard outer layer, cut it in half and add that in, let it simmer, and then take the lemongrass out at the end. They didn't have any lemongrass, so I went with this. You know, when you just are craving a dish, sometimes you got to make substitutions. So here it is. I'm going to put a couple teaspoons of this into the mix. You can find this in the fresh herb aisle at the grocery store, but whenever possible, make sure you head out to the Kitchener Market to their vendors and source as much as you can there, okay? Just a quick reminder, as I'm talking about that the Kitchener Market is open right now from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays for all your meats, cheeses, produce, and so many other great things. So be sure to head out there, support the farmers, support the local businesses. I know they appreciate it and they are there happy and ready to serve you. And I can tell you for a fact that the staff at the Kitchener Market are working so hard to make sure that you have a great experience when you come out on a Saturday. Got the vegetables all in. Now I'm just going to add my chicken back in and all the juice as well. Everything's in now except for a little bit of lime juice. You can also add a little bit of fish sauce as well, which is going to give it a really nice saltiness. One of the things you always notice with Thai food is it's a little bit sweet, a little bit spicy, a little bit salty. It just hits all of the flavor points. So, rice noodles are unlike other noodles in that they don't need to really cook. They just need to rehydrate. So they're just going to hang out in there for just like 2 or 3 minutes till they're soft. I'm going to add some bean sprouts in at the very last minute. And then that is going to be about it. My soup has been simmering for about 5 or 6 minutes after I added my noodles in, depending on the thickness of your noodles. Just keep an eye on them so that they're cooked and soft, but not mushy. I'm just going to put some of the noodles in the bottom of the bowl, and then I'm going to ladle some of that delicious broth over top. Get some of those delicious vegetables. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to taste this, guys, before we say goodbye for today. That just looks so good. I'm going to it's finished up with just a little bit of cilantro. And then if you need a little bit of extra like saltiness or anything like that, feel free to put a few drops of soy sauce in here. I'm going to do up one more plate with some spinach in it just for some extra green and nutrition. And then I'm going to have a quick peek at our stew and see if it's ready to come out of the oven. Let's see. Oh my goodness. The meat is so tender. You can see I pierced it with the fork. Oh my goodness. Okay. Don't try this at home. I am a trained professional kind of. Let's hope I don't burn my mouth while I taste this deliciousness, okay? Wow. This is so thick. I can't get the words out. I'm just so excited about how amazing and beautiful this stew turned out. If this is too thick for you guys, feel free to add a little bit of extra stock or a little bit of water even, just to get it to the consistency that you like, but I love it like this. So here it is, guys. Delicious soup and stew supper. I hope that you guys try these recipes at home. The recipes will be in the description below. Thanks for joining me again. I'm Chef Nicole here on behalf of the Kitchener Market, and all January long we are going to be doing a health and wellness series. So if you want to be able to connect into lots of free events and content, be sure to head over to thekitchenermarket.ca for all the information. You can click on their calendar and see all the exciting things that are happening. And don't forget to subscribe to the City of Kitchener YouTube page so that you don't miss any of our videos. We'll see you online or at the Kitchener Market really soon. Bye for now.